to God, if God graces me with the ability and gives me the opportunity to do something, I will do it without hesitation. That's all I'm gonna say. And it's not a crime. You niggas got a $1 trillion budget and you've lost to niggas with AKs, masks, and broken bulletproof vests. At the end of the day, like, if I'm happy, like, don't worry about what I'm doing. Chase the bag. Hey. All right. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning as well. Welcome back to the 419ers podcast. I'm your host. Many of you know me by Ezekiel. Many names, but here I'm Kiito by these fucking Nigerian niggas. So, anyways, like I said, let me finish. After last week's episode, we decided that maybe we should take a more genuine direction, talk about something more serious. So this week's episode is on the education system. Many of us are students, so us being currently in the education systems can attest to a lot that's currently happening that either may be fucked up or wrong in general. So we have the my co-host with me here. Say what's up, David.
What it do? Hello, everybody.
All right. Say what's up, Samuel.
What's good, guys?
All right. And say what's up, Bammy.
How's it going, bros?
Oh wow!
I actually want to stab you for that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I want to stab you for that.
It's supposed to be serious.
Yeah. So
allow it.
Dave, you have okay, we're gonna start off with stories. It's gonna be segmented into two parts. The first half is kind of like experiences. Second half is, actually talking about the problems with the system. So depending on whatever you want to listen to, whether you want to listen to comedic portion or the discussion portion, I'll put the timestamps up. But if you want to listen to the whole thing, sit back and relax and enjoy. So David, your story.
Okay, I'm on the floor. All right, so this story basically comes in two parts.
Floor gang.
All right, David. You sound a little muffled for me. Can you fix that up for you?
Can you hear me?
Good? Yeah.
Hello? All right, bet. Right, so this story comes in two parts, all right? So basically, it's all got to do with my math teacher. For my last 2 years of high school, I took what we call the International Baccalaureate. It's a scam. Yep. Dead ass, whole scam. Don't do it. Love yourself, love your children. Just, skip over the thing. Anyway, so we roll in, and literally first day of class, I knew I was not gonna like this dude. Like, it's so odd. Like, even just looking at him. So you come in, right? Like, there's this huge, like 6'6", like really like this old man. He's built as well. Like, but he's also a nerd. And he walks in and say, "Oh, hi, hello, how are you guys doing?" And it starts off friendly enough, but then you get into class, and it's like they dragged this dude straight out of like 1867 because, bro, I swear he's so old-fashioned. Anyway, that's
no
not even
niggers
the problem,
in the classroom, a lie?
Nah, bro.
What are you doing off the plantation, Jigaboo? That's the vibe I get from some of my teachers. I'm not gonna lie. Continue.
Nah. All right, so basically, bro, I'm gonna be jumping all over the place. Okay, so this is gonna factor into the story, so I'm gonna just out myself real quick. Y'all, I got narcolepsy. Okay, so basically, TLDR, your nigga doesn't sleep right. So, anyway, fast forward a little bit. So we're in class, and obviously I didn't know I had this yet, and neither did he. So I start falling asleep, and that's when all hell breaks loose, because this guy, no, I don't know if it's his ego or whatever, but he actually cannot stand it. When I say this dude did the Shrek roar from friggin', bro, I swear to God, like I remember it that I closed my eyes for like time it 3 seconds, bro. He like when white people turn like physically red.
Yeah.
Like you know when
blossoms.
they get so like you know when they get so like enraged. It's just, bro, I swear, bro, this dude, he wrote like other teachers came out of their classroom from down the hall and they were like, what the fuck is going on? So yeah, that happened once or twice. So then I was sent out of the classroom in front of everybody because the nigga just didn't get enough sleep. So that's when the whole beef started. And then, so fast forward 2 years, I still didn't like this nigga. He didn't like me.
2 years? I put a bullet in my head.
No, because this is what happens next, right? So
2 years
COVID
of
19
records.
rolls around. So COVID 19 rolls around,
Mm.
and everyone's at home trying to take online classes, right? But
Yeah.
around this time, my little sister also got sick, not with COVID, but like with a weird ass cold and a cough. So basically, she's
Kind of sounds like COVID, bro. Not gonna lie.
no. Allow. It wasn't COVID. Okay.
No.
So so yeah, she gets sick, and because she's a gross little gremlin, she passes it on to me.
Oh, so you
And
have COVID now.
Okay.
bro, so yeah, that's how I yeah, but I was coughing like crazy. So, but that's
Okay.
when I no, that's when I came across my $1 million, right? So every time I logged in for math class, that's when I would stop hiding. I would stop hiding the cough. So then all of a sudden, my classmates start giving me weird looks, and then he
Oh,
starts. No. It's fine. Just build up the atmosphere. So I do that with every class, right? And I start to build up
Okay.
suspense. So then I stopped logging in altogether one day, and everyone just like, oh, okay, he's dead. So they,
God damn. Yo, you niggas out there
so
are wilding.
It's chess, not checkers. It's chess, not checkers.
yeah, bro. Yeah,
That's
so like
a
my
fact.
supervisor would check in every once in a while. I was like, oh, okay, sorry, David. Hope you're doing well. I remind her, I did not have COVID, but I sure as hell wasn't gonna let them know that. So I was chilling in bed this whole time. So that's when this guy tries to come out again and says, hey guys, we're gonna do a math project. It's gonna be really cool. You're gonna come back in a couple weeks and show me how you've gone along. So then I started coughing really hard. So that's how, and the nigga just dips, and I've never seen him again. And that is honestly the best play of my life.
What if you killed him? You ever thought of that?
Bro, dude, bro, can you please take time to understand that I made time in the beginning to state how freaking built this guy is? I wouldn't stand a chance.
No, but I'm saying, what if your disease was actually COVID, your immune system's just good, and then you fucking killed him?
Do I know where this guy lives? Am I gonna drive over and cough on
no.
his head? Bro,
I don't think Keaton realized that it was an online class.
Oh, no,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
That's what I get for being a fucking. Anyway,
Bro, my dude thought that you could stream the COVID. Like, are you serious?
Mm.
Right
He didn't wear a mask on his microphone.
I hope you
It
guys know
was
I'm
the-
just heating up for my story. Like, my story, I'm gonna get so fucking heated.
But like,
Yeah.
it was the best thing because I kept on getting like get well soon messages, and everybody was like, "Oh no, how you been, David?"
Yo, you're
"Oh, it's
actually such a scammer.
You're actually
Like,
a scammer.
yeah, bro.
You're really repping the 419ers.
honestly.
Bro,
This
I
guy
was
actually
eating-
scammed his own school system. How ironic.
I was eating Indomie in bed like for weeks.
Okay, Indomie
And
is like
these
the
niggas-
remedy of all diseases. It's like Indomie
Well, I mean-
and. Okay.
That's right. Like, I mean, don't get me
Pepper
wrong.
soup.
I was actually still dying, but I wasn't in school, so that was beautiful.
Bro,
Yeah,
no
you
one's
were
gonna want to talk to you after
totally
you come
dying.
back from school. I hope you know that.
No, that's if they find out. If they find out.
Fam, if we get popular, you're actually so screwed. Like, do you know that?
You're just dead.
What are they gonna do? I've already got my diploma, man. They can't touch me.
Yeah, that's a fact.
I'm not gonna say anything that'll incriminate me in the future. For now, when I graduate high school, holy shit, the gloves are off.
Oh,
2 more years, baby. 2 more years.
Oh, like deadass, I feel like you're actually gonna start the gang war, like at one point.
And I'll be the proud spear front. I'll be the head of the fucking ring.
Yo,
Fuck,
give me a
I don't
call.
even know how to put it as sentence.
bro, give me a call when you start that shit, because I look you want to cut.
I got you, bro. Say less.
Hey,
Sammy,
Yo,
what's your
bro.
story?
Well, it has nothing to do with gangs, thank God. But
boo.
Samuel just wants to make sure his parents who are listening to this will know that.
This guy.
No, fam. Do you know how many people just assume? Nah, I'm not even gonna get into that. Anyway, let's go back way before this podcast, way before a lot of things, and back to year 8, which should be like grade 7 in the American system or something. And basically, my whole class, we had this French teacher, right? And I'm not gonna say her name, but she was very extra, and she was from Cote d'Ivoire, and she's just very accent heavy. But that's not the point. The point is that one time we all did our French exams, and then we all failed. Every single person in the class like failed. Like I'm talking,
Damn.
if somebody got 30%, everyone was surprised.
To be honest, I'm sorry
Damn.
to say
Person would
this,
be
but
like
French
10.
teachers are always extra.
French teachers.
I
Oh.
swear to God, French niggas. It sound like they speak. It sound like they speak the edge of the pizza. I don't know what it means, but it just feels like they just sound like crust, bro.
The edge of the pizza.
Yeah, they sound like pizza crust. I don't know how to explain that, but it just makes sense. Like the French niggas sound
Nigga,
like
what
pizza
are you
crust.
talking?
No.
I
Wait,
feel
I think
it
he's
off
onto
for some
something. I
reason.
think he's onto
Just
something.
fits.
Yeah, it just sounds like it makes sense. They just sound like pizza crust.
Nah, you niggas are tripping, bro. I have no idea what are you talking about.
Anyway, carry on,
Yeah,
Samuel.
carry on.
Basically, yeah. So she was like, you know what? You guys failed so bad that all of you now have to go back home to your parents, give them your exam papers to sign, and then
Oof.
bring them back Monday morning just to make
Ah.
sure that they saw them. As you can see,
Boo.
tad bit of a dickhead, just a tad bit. But yeah, that happened. So I showed my dad, showed my mom, and so they had seen it, but they didn't get to sign it at the time because they were busy. Because when you're a kid, your parents neglect you.
Neglect you.
Uh-oh.
Nah, I'm playing. I'm cool with them now. But
Oh,
yeah,
I was
basically-
about to relate with you real hard, but no, carry on.
Oh no.
no, we can have that for another podcast. But
Yeah,
besides the point,
Parents.
that whole weekend happened.
Episode 6 coming soon.
God damn it! I can't.
We
I
haven't
can't.
even had episode 5.
Did I?
I'm pushing it away.
Having a fake. You're fine.
I'm pushing it away. Come on.
But yeah, like I was saying, the whole weekend goes by. I can't remember all of the details. I just know that they were busy, and apparently I wasn't in the equation.
Oof.
So Sunday night,
That just
hold
sounds
up.
bad.
Yeah, I know.
Not
I
in
know.
the equation of your parents' lives. Fuck. You're just the deductible, bro. Use a tax benefit.
David, those are new taxes, so you should know about that.
Of
But
course.
Bruh,
regardless,
Yo,
He
keep
don't
that waistline
miss.
in the
He
deal,
don't
bro.
miss.
fuck. But yeah, Sunday night pulls up here, and I still haven't signed it. So I'm like, damn, what am I gonna do? So, literally, I see one of my dad's old signatures on a piece of paper.
Oh no.
So I'm like, oh, okay. He said he was gonna sign it anyway. So I cut his signature out and I glue it onto my exam,
Oh my god.
Really?
thinking that
Uh,
I actually can't take you
Oh,
seriously
oh.
for that one. I actually can't take you seriously for that one. Like, what did you
I
expect?
can't, bro.
thinking that that was
Really?
I just can't take you
Dude.
seriously for that one.
Nigga.
like I really thought that, you know what, it makes sense. He said he was gonna sign it anyway, so it's the big deal. So Monday morning pulls in, I come in with swagger. Okay, not sauce.
So
Money
who,
like
so who
14,
gonna tell
15.
him?
My guy is probably
Honestly-
sticking out on the end.
Like, bro, I literally walk in, all right, thinking that, oh yeah, this is gonna be easy. Everybody else is getting told off. They're gonna get called by their parents soon, blah blah blah. So I walk up to her, hand her the exam. First thing she says in like her weird French accent, "Forgery."
Oh, she meant forgery.
Surgery?
Nigga said forgery. She said forgery.
I thought you said something in French at first.
Yeah,
the way
so
you
did I.
said
I was
it.
just like, what?
No,
Forgery
like,
was-
she stammered, and you know I have a stammer, but she's forgery.
I think it was for a dramatic effect, or she was just making fun
French
of you.
niggas always love to do the most. If you don't get your baguette eating ass out of here, like fuck out of here, nigga.
Ooh,
God
uh,
damn.
I actually
Why are
hate
you
French
out here
teachers.
coming for everybody?
No,
on
because
the
I'm
chat?
tight,
First
bro.
it was,
I'm
wait,
tight.
now it's gonna be this is the French. Okay, fine.
Regardless, that whole thing happened. Now, for some context, my mom works in the school I was in before. She was the she's the principal of the primary school I was in before. So
Principals
would be very easy for her to tell my mom about everything that happened. So it's the same day, right? My mom is like, "Yo, we'll leave early. Just like give me a second." I'm like, "Yes." She won't find out. As she's packing her stuff, guess who pulls up into her office?
no.
Forgery. So literally that happened. She tells my mom. My mom is pissed. My mom sends me to my principal. That happens. My mom calls my dad. I hear my dad on the phone from my principal's office room. So that whole
Ooh.
thing.
Ooh,
Ooh.
And
Uh,
yeah,
that's
my
not pleasant.
principal like started feeling bad for me at one point in time because, oh, when I was a kid, no, I, I didn't know what forgery was, bro. I didn't know what it was. I thought that I had, I thought that I had pulled out the Carfax with my glue. I really did. But anyway, that whole thing happened. I had to write an apology letter to Madam
who?
Forgery, and
Your
yeah,
parents?
no, to Madam Forgery, and yeah, that's
Ah,
what happened.
oof.
Imagine seeing a 5-year-old peek over in what's it called, nursery school, at what the other kid is drawing and starts coughing, and then the teacher just walks off. Examination malpractice.
But yeah, that was definitely the stupidest thing I've ever done in my life till this day. Like,
Bro, dead low key. Like I actually got really good in my signature. Y'all have no idea how many report cards I had to hide.
yeah, because you're a
Oh,
scammer, bro. I'm
Oh, I
not a
just didn't
scammer.
no.
sign. They didn't give a fuck.
David came up with our name, honestly.
This guy's he's the resident scammer.
That's
Head
a
hunch.
fact.
Bro, dude, don't out me too quickly, okay? Like it's just what we had to do.
Too quickly.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. See, Bobby gets it, bro. I did what I had to do. All right.
Anyway, I think I've set the stage for man like Ezekiel. Fucking
But what I
Oh,
don't,
dude, I've been looking at these
what I don't,
screenshots.
wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Before we leave Star Wars, what I don't get is that your parents had time to look at it, but they didn't have time to just scribble their names.
Like,
Bro, it was
it's
so
not even
weird.
like their name. They just have
It
to
was so
sign,
weird.
bro.
I just signed. Like she doesn't know their damn signature. She doesn't. Well, that's one thing I just thought of. She doesn't actually know your parents' signature.
You
Nah,
could
she
have
might
done
know my
anything.
mom's.
Oh,
She might know my mom's. She might know my mom's.
Oh, true.
yeah, your
Then
mom
you
was the
just say it's your
principal.
dad's.
Yeah.
Yo,
Honestly,
yeah,
the fact
that's
that they
the
were both that busy just shows, man.
But
no, that's the
still,
one thing I want to pick up.
wait. When
Finally,
when you say they were busy, is that they didn't want to get off the chair to get a pen because you brought the paper and you showed
bro,
it,
Bro, you
thank
should have brought the
know.
and they
pen with
looked
you
over it.
too.
Did I should have brought the pen. Wait, no, I think I remember bringing the pen one time and then I can't remember which pen it was, but one of them was like, "Yo, I'm busy doing something. Wait."
See,
And I
nah,
just,
bro. You know
I got-
what? The real
it
the
was
real villain
it was
here
not my
is
fault.
Nigerian parenting. It's okay.
Hey, that's a whole.
yes, David, that is the moral of the story.
Thankfully, my parents knew how to parent it like a year later. Basically, they got
But
that, so it's all good.
you know what kind of pisses me off?
Yeah.
It's like how the because obviously, bro. So let's just say you were a kid, right? So
Yeah,
why
8.
on
AKA I was like
yeah
15,
yeah
14. Yeah.
yeah? But like imagine being that teacher. So not only are you an asshole because not only is it your fault they failed because you did teach, not only are you going to be an asshole, tell them to go show their parents how badly they failed because of you, but you're gonna give a nigga shit because you just keep turning it back in. I don't understand. I don't understand it.
When the whole class fails, you have to stop.
You have,
Yeah,
you have to
gotta start.
evaluate. You have to
You have
take a
to
step back.
evaluate the individual. You have to look at the teacher.
In all honesty, the fact that every single person failed, and we had smart people in our class, majority of the people in our class were intelligent, or like they acted on their intelligence. It was just like,
Exactly. Like, bro, you gotta start asking. Like, maybe it's you.
no, but that's the thing. It's their pride. It's their pride. But that's definitely going to be a topic later on about
Dude, if
Nigeria.
they had dignity, they wouldn't have become a school teacher. What? Come on now.
No, like it's their pride, bro. That's why. But we are going off topic. More importantly, the story of the century, one that has more sauce than spinal fluid. Go on,
Ah,
Q.
bro, I swear.
Oh, did we even make that joke
Fuck you.
on
That was low
recording?
hanging fruit. Nigga want to hate on me
It's
because I got
I just no
scoliosis
one
and
will
shit.
get it. If we had made it earlier in the podcast, that was before we started recording.
It's an inside joke, guys. You're not gonna know what it is. It's
I
fine.
swear I'm so patient with you niggas for no
I
reason.
can't. All right, boys. So let me start my story because this shit happened literally less than a day ago. This morning.
Go on, King. Go on.
Okay. Reference.
Story.
I have an 83 in the class.
Story.
All right. 83%. I want you guys to keep that number in mind. All right. So this is 83% before the break, right? So keep that in mind, right?
Good shit.
83%. We go into the break, right? So this is this class. I'm not gonna say which class it
Okay.
is. I'm not gonna say which teacher. I'm gonna say this is Mr. Nah, I like Mr. K. Mr. K is a G. I'm gonna say not G because G is a good letter. What's a fuck letter? Mr. X. No, I like Malcolm
No,
X.
just say Mr. Man.
Yeah,
Bro,
bro.
Charles Xavier, no, what are you talking about?
I'm gonna say Mr.
Mr. P.
Mr. C for cuck. All right, Mr. C. All right. So I'm in a class. All right. Let's just say this class is the equivalent of water drinking class. This is the if you don't plan. Granted, it's important to know how to drink water, but then again,
You can wing it.
yeah, like you're fine if you don't take the class because eventually you'll learn how to do this shit yourself. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So bear in mind, I have an 83 before we go into class. All right. Go into class. Go into the quarantine. Right. I'm doing online classes now. I get we had 2 tests in online, right? I get a 90 and a 75, right? A 90 and a 75. So at this point, my grade, I do believe my grade is, fuck, I have to calculate that. Someone calculate that for me. Just average that out. But back to what I'm saying. I have a 90 and a 75, right? So keep that grade in mind. If you niggas can calculate that, but be fine. All right. So the CPT
The
comes
average.
up. Yeah, the average. The CPT comes up, right? CPT being culminating performance task, right? This CPT is worth 30% of the grade, right? And then okay, so upon he announced it, right? And he gave us the option to not do it, right?
Mhm.
And what he did was he said, okay, yes, no, but I will listen, and no, I'm not doing the CPT, right? So I asked him on the page where it gave me the option not to do it. I asked, will there be any ramifications if I do not do it?
By
No
the way,
answer.
82%. 82.6%.
I'm at an 82% now. All right, I'm gonna keep that in mind, boys. 82%.
Mhm.
So okay, that makes sense because he rounded it up to 83. All right. So I'm at an 83, right? Still at an 83. I'm chilling, bro. So I ask him, are there any ramifications if I don't do it? No response. I'm like, fuck it. I'm working on music. I have stuff to prepare because I'm playing for a wedding, right? Because bear in mind, I actually make more money an hour than he does sometimes. Because guess what?
Ooh,
Knowing how to play an instrument requires more years of dedication than being a dick writer at a school. So, right? So basically, right? I'm doing my thing, right? And I'm like, okay, a week passes, right? The day where the first part of the CPT is due. I'm like, so am I gonna fail? No answer. Second part of the CPT was due. I asked him again, am I gonna fail? I didn't get a notification for an answer, but apparently he answered that day. Third part, I'm asking him dead ass again. So am I failing? Like just straight up, am I failing? And he's like, oh, I've already answered this question. Why do you keep answering? I'm like, first of all you have to do is say yes or no. You don't have to give me this attitude, dickhead. So I'm like, so I go back, look through, and I see the message. So I'm like, so am I going to fail? This is how the conversation goes. I'm like, He replies, "You definitely deserve to fail since you've done limited amounts of work." Okay. Kind of did well on, both tests. Bear in mind, a passing grade in Canada is 50%, right? Keep that shit in mind.
Okay.
Bear in mind, I want you guys to
The
keep that in
bar
your
is high.
skulls. No. It's 50%, just 50%, right? Doesn't matter what you do. You could not do because in school we would have an exam and a CPT, but only here we have a CPT, right? In school, you could not do the exam and CPT, and you would still pass the class if you had above a 50, all right? Granted, your grade will be in like probably the 50s or 60s, but you would still pass the class, right? So he's like, yes, you definitely deserve to fail since you've done limited amounts of work and have not demonstrated any skill in the course. Okay, first of all, that's disrespectful. Because I know I demonstrated skill. Because I know in class you gave me a special assignment to build a blueprint for the best computer possible. You gave that assignment to 3 out of the 30 students in the class, and I was one of them. So for you to say I don't show any skill in that class, you're fucking retarded. Second of all, you talk to me and my group of people the most in the whole class. Like, you are bored, all right? I don't want to hear that shit, all right? And I'm like, to that, and he's just like, to that being said, I refer to the personal post. Sorry, I'm peeking, so let me step away from the mic. So he's like, okay, I want you to look back at the message, the personal post saying regarding each marks, right? I'm like, a yes or no would have been sufficient. You don't have to give me attitude, right? And then he's like, it's up in the air based on you not doing any. What do you mean me not doing anything? I did both the tests. The only thing I didn't do was part of the CPT. Not all of it, because I've already done part of the CPT. I just didn't want to do the hard part where it's like 60%. I don't give a fuck about that part. I'm still going to pass the class. I just didn't do part. So I've done literally 3/4 of the course. That's 70%, right? And I passed all 70%, meaning I'm still above the 50% and I'm still maintaining my grade of 83. I want you guys to understand that, right?
Okay.
And he's like, it's up in the air. Based on you not doing anything, I've submitted a fail request to the administration, but it's ultimately up to them to decide. However, they can overrule the rules I have to follow. I want you to understand those 3 sentences. It's up in the air. Based on you not... Apparently, I've done nothing. Okay. You know what? That's up to debate. You have gone out of your way to fail me on a course that is a choice. This isn't math. This isn't science. This isn't fucking... I'm not telling you everyone what the course is. This isn't math. This isn't science. This isn't a requisite course you need, right? And this isn't a course that if you do bad in, a university will deny you. This is a grade 10 elective that doesn't mean shit. It is almost as useless as civics and careers. I want you guys to understand that.
Yep.
Like, you don't even have to take this as the prerequisite to continue. You know what I mean? Because usually you do the levels, right?
That's crazy.
Like, you can literally go to the next level without taking this course. This is how useless of a course it is. But you want to ruin my credits and my 12th grade year because you have a vendetta against me. All right? This guy went out of his way. He could have literally just put a check mark on my report card, given me my grade, and been on his way. But no, guess what he's done? He's typed up a report, me being the only Negro child in that class, all right? He's gone out of his way to type up a report, email the school board, the district board. Do you know how big the district board is? There are over 150 schools. He's emailed the head office. He's taken literal minutes out of his day. Not even minutes, probably an hour, because that shit takes time to write. Because he has to provide proof, evidence, right? It probably took like an hour to write. You've taken that time out of your day to send that shit to the district board because you have a vendetta to settle. And I'm like, how are you going to give me the option to not do it and then get pressed when I say no? Okay. And he's like, it is your choice, not an option.
What?
Bro, let me... He gave us a multiple choice sheet to not do it. And I asked, are there any ramifications if I don't do it? And guess what? He didn't reply. If he just replied, I probably would have done it with more, it's not even that I didn't do it. I just didn't do part of it.
That's a fact.
So it is your choice, not option, or whether you decide if you want to participate or not. I never force you one way or another. I'm like, okay, so I started calculating, and this dumb motherfucker. So guess what? Oh, I was gassed as shit. So, care to do the honors? Anyone? 83 times 0.7, right? Because 0.7 is how much the whole course is worth. Then 0.3 is how much the final CPT is worth, right?
Yeah.
Care to do the option? Does anyone like to
58.
calculate that? Huh?
58.
58%. And what's the required minimal passing grade in Canada?
50.
50.
Go fuck
50.
yourself, Mr. C. I hope you eat a dick and choke on it. I've never been happier because regardless, if that shit gets denied, I hope you understand the way I'm walking back into that school and crip walking in his class, and I'm disrespecting him in front of his 10th grade class because he can swallow my dick. I fucking hate this guy. I swear to God, dude. This guy got me. This ruined. Not even ruined, because then again, I had some good shit happen to me. So like, honestly, go fuck yourself. Honestly. You are a bored human being that has nothing better to do with your life. You are a grown man that was in the. I'm not gonna say anything because then you're gonna automatically know who I'm talking about. But you are a grown man with life experience. You are more than 3 times my age. And guess what you want to do with your day? You want to go out of your way to make sure I don't pass a class that doesn't affect what I want to do. Because the thing is, this is a. How do I say this? This is a let's say this is a science and math type course, and I want to do law with my life, right? I want to go in the law domain. I don't need this shit, right? I just need a course to fill in because I'm in the 10th grade, right? And I can't have spares. And there's nothing in the 10th grade that really helps me with law, right?
Yeah.
There's no elective. 11th grade and 12th grade is really where it's at. And you want to go out of your way to fuck up my future because you want to be a cunt over a course that doesn't matter to my future. Okay. Keep that same energy because I'm a petty bastard.
There we go.
Oh,
That was my
stand up for
fucking
it.
TED talk, dude.
He's all backing the heat.
Stand up for it.
I'm telling you, when
So,
the thing is, oh my god, bro, I don't think you understand. I'll tell you guys this after the podcast is over because I don't want anyone I know to know this. But like, I'm promised to God, if God graces me with the ability and gives me the opportunity to do something, I will do it without hesitation. That's all I'm gonna say. And it's not a crime. I
Somebody's gonna
promise.
die.
Everyone
Somebody's
listening, it
gonna
is not a
die.
crime. It is not a crime. It is something legal.
Bro, don't disappoint us already. Come on, like just.
I'm not doing no
Get
crimes because if
get
I
out
say it's a
of here.
crime,
Stop.
I'm getting arrested.
Oh, okay, but I mean, you don't have to say it like on the air.
Dave, what are you doing?
What?
Like, this isn't funny.
Like, think about it. Like, can we also understand the fact that it says it's the rules I have to follow? It is the rules that state do not fail anybody regardless, right? But he has gone out of his way to ask the board to veto the rule.
I know.
All I can think after hearing the story is
That's a
how
credit.
bored must you be, or
That's what
how
I'm saying. Like, you have. I even thought we were cool too. Like, you don't have to. I'm confused. I'm actually confused.
Like, literally, Kitor, the only way that this ends bad for you is if they move up the passing mark to 60, and there's no way they're gonna do that.
No,
Why-
do you know how many
why
people are
would they
gonna
do
fail if
that?
they move it up to 60?
Woo!
No, literally, like, that's the only way that this ends bad for you, and it's not. So you're in the clear. They're not gonna move out to 60 randomly. That'd be insane.
No, he's probably gonna be like, it's because he didn't show the ability to understand. Granted, I got a 90 on 2 tests, and before we even left, I had an 85 in your class. Okay. Bear in mind, that was an 85 in class, not an 85 in online class. So
Wait, but bro, like, how is he even going to start saying that? Like, in all honesty, I can imagine this email to the school.
I want to
board.
see the
Like,
email
him
because
just, like,
he's lying. He
absolutely
has to be lying.
sniping on you.
You have to
And
be
then when they see
lying.
the evidence, like, what evidence does he have on you, bro?
Like, you have to be lying at this point.
That's the only way. That's like, from what you told me so far, that's the only way that this makes sense. Because what evidence can you have against somebody that is doing the, like, basically top tier in your class?
Oh my god, let me tell you something. The funny bit is, I had an 85. Guess the class average. Guess the class average before we left.
What's the class average?
60 fucking 7.
God.
Ooh.
It was a 67, and he wants to come from me, the only Negro child. I'm not saying this because I'm not implying anything. I'm just saying
Pull the
how
race card,
convenient.
King.
I'm
Pull the
not.
race
What
card.
race card? That doesn't exist, guys.
Pull the race
So I'm just saying how convenient it is that one of the best performing students in the class, who has who has more than 15% higher than the class average, who is also the only Negro male within the 30 people. That is a 1 in 30%. Do you know that is
He
1 in
thinks you're
30?
cheating.
All right.
He thinks you're cheating. That's the only way.
How
Pull
There are
that
only two ways
race
this happens.
card, King. Pull it.
No,
how
listen.
convenient is it
Wait,
that all of
There are only two ways that he can make an argument right now. Now I'm thinking about it. Either he's gonna say that, oh, his grades don't match his work ethic, so he must be cheating, or
What the hell? What the
It's a
hell?
joke.
What the
or
hell?
or it's the whole 60% thing. That's the only way that this goes down, and both of
Wait,
those
yo,
ways are stupid. So
Yo, I'm actually like heavily concerned because you said that like it was an actual thing that could happen. Like, what can they fail? Can they like accuse you of cheating just on suspicion? Is that a thing?
No,
no,
they
like
require proof.
if they give you enough evidence, and yeah, most
Yeah, they
school
like. Let's say they say honestly, it's teacher word of mouth. Because think about it, I've never been caught cheating.
nigga,
That's
don't
all I'm
say
gonna say.
that.
I've never been caught cheating. No, I'm saying I've never been caught cheating. Just listen. I've never been caught cheating. However, I've never cheated in this class. Because you can't cheat in this class. Because it's a lot of written stuff. It's blueprint. You can't cheat off planning, or else that's plagiarism, and it's easy to find out plagiarism. All right. And in the online tests, the most I did was fucking Google a question. Not because for the answer, but because I literally didn't understand how it's worded. And he can attest to that because I got an 90 on one, and then I got a 75 on another. Like, if I was cheating, why would I choose to get a 75?
That's a fact, though. That's
like, even if I was cheating to the point where it's like, oh, I want to cheat, but I also want to make it look like it makes sense, I wouldn't go that low for a 75. You know what I mean? Because then again, it just like ruins the average.
That's a fact.
Like, maybe, like, if you could accuse me of cheating if I went 90, like 90 all the way instead of full of hundreds, right? Or like 95s, right? But I had a 75 on one of them. So it's like, bro, like, I find it redundant to cheat in such a meaningless class anyways. Like, you could argue this point maybe in a different class, in an important class, but this is so meaningless.
Yeah. No, like, I'm trying to play devil's advocate because since my mom has worked in schools with
No, I understand you. I know you're not trying to be against you.
I know how teachers do this. I've seen teachers fail people off of reasons that were kind of finicky, but because of the school board and how sketchy it was, and maybe if money was involved, it has happened. But thankfully, Canada is hopefully not as sketchy as Nigeria.
Bro, I just hope if somehow it goes to pass, I hope I get a chance to defend myself, honestly. I don't want none of that shit where I just find out I fail. I want them to like call us and have us at least explain ourselves. Because I feel like once we explain ourselves, like literally there's nothing that he can do. But if they just say, oh, go fuck yourself, you failed, I'm actually holy shit, I'm protesting the school unit.
Bro, it's cool. It's cool. Look, what I'm saying is, worst comes to worst, just drop his name. We can make things happen. Fine.
Yeah. Notice how I just wanted to preface anything. I have not done anything criminal. I have not stated that I will do anything terrible to this man. Granted, I have wished harm upon him, but I never said I would do it myself. I've just stated the facts of the events that passed, so don't hold me accountable for anything that happens. All I am saying is all I'm doing is pointing out the ignorance and fallacies of what has just went down. All right.
Yeah. Imagine
Also,
getting your disclaimers
all
out.
of the other members not live in the same country at all.
None of us live in the same country. I made the mistake saying that what's it called? David and Samuel live in the United Kingdom. Only Samuel lives in the United Kingdom. David lives in Scotland.
Bro, is that not part of the UK?
I said not UK. I meant England, not United Kingdom.
Yeah.
Because I said you guys both live in England, not United. You guys are both okay. But like, as much as I'd love to keep talking about it because it gets me infuriated. Bami, criming.
Yeah, I've been pretty silent, haven't I? I don't have any specific teacher or recent incident because school's been pretty calm recently. But
Fuck you
Just
do.
in general, I'd rather speak more on the way things are run in like the Nigerian educational system because it's pretty messed up. It's to all the kids that take for granted being schooling abroad. They really don't know just how much freedom they have and just how much
They don't.
Well, I
how many privileges and opportunities
Oh
they
yeah,
have. But
wait.
yeah,
Let me just put this disclaimer, just for everyone listening. I know it sounds okay. Everyone who knows me, not everyone who's listening. Everyone who knows me, all right. I know it seems that I've lived here all my life. In all actuality, I'm immigrated here fully when I was like 9, 10, right? Ever since like between like since I was born, because I wasn't even born here. I was born in England. So between when I was born all the way up to like 8, I was in and out of Canada. However, I did mainly most of my school from ages 1 to 8 in Nigeria. So I understand the school system. Granted, I don't understand secondary, but I know a lot of primary school
Similar enough.
carries over to secondary, and it's fucked. If that's all I'm gonna say.
yeah.
That's an actual fact.
Bro, I wasn't even in the Nigerian school system for very long. But like shit, bro, even I had a bad day.
Exactly. I tell you, the trauma that happened, it carries till to this day.
It's honestly just discouraging. But I mean, like you can go off on it
Yeah, go off, Bammy.
if you want to.
So imagine, picture this. It's grade 2, primary school, freaking primary school. You have a spelling test, and let's say 10, 15 words. The teacher dictates, and you have to write it down and spell it correctly. Twist. When you get a question wrong, you get a stroke of the cane. So
The
for
fuck?
each, yeah, on your hand, for each question.
Explain to the whitewashed viewers, the privileged viewers, what a stroke of the
Yeah,
cane means.
just so you know, like teachers often, majority of primary and secondary schools in Nigeria, teachers carry sticks, canes. They're allowed to hit students with sticks.
Yo,
This is some 1800 shit for all the Westerners, but
Yeah.
bro,
it's
dead
still
ass.
ongoing.
Yeah, it's still
It's
ongoing,
just
especially
it's
in
just
East Asian countries
business as
and the
usual.
like Africa's and Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, in my primary school, we called the stick Mr. Brown. Like he had a
Mr.
whole
Yeah,
personality and
they all
everything.
called it. It was either Mr. Brown or Mr. Do Good.
Oh, word! It wasn't just me.
Bruh, the
Oh,
teacher,
that's even worse.
different teachers had different names. It's
If you named
like
your cane, you're probably mentally unstable. Let's be factual.
it's worse than a guy naming his dick, in my opinion.
Who names that? Nah, that's
First
a
of all,
whole
I
different
named my
podcast
dick
episode.
Black Mjolnir. All right, let me let me
Oh,
live.
wow. Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, that's actually a pretty cool name. I can't even hate on that. I
It's a,
can't.
it's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke.
Because it always comes back.
No, I didn't
Ah,
even
that
even
was
hate
good.
on
That
that.
was
Like,
good.
I
no.
actually wouldn't have judged you. I wouldn't even lie to you.
All of you need to turn your mics off right now.
Y'all need G's.
All right, Bammy, continue. Continue, Bammy.
So yeah. So for every wrong spelling, you get a stroke of the cane. And I'm one of the lucky ones. I know how to spell, so I get like 2 wrong, so I just get 2 strokes. But then there's a kid who got like a whole 50% of the
Uh-oh.
of the test wrong. So
Oh god.
that was like 7 canes on his hand. No misbehavior, no rudeness, no nothing. Just got a question wrong. If a couple questions wrong. And apparently that is education.
Just beat that nigga.
Yo,
This
okay.
this pervades throughout primary school and secondary school, the culture of.
Can I tell my little story that I plan to tell about? Because it actually falls in the same line as that.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
All right, so basically, I'm in second year too as well, like at the same time. However, this was not the test. This was actually them teaching us. I think it was basically grade 2 civics, right? Grade 2 fucking conduction class, how to be a human being in the real world, right? So they were teaching us how to button up shirts properly and all that stuff. Because I think I went to a private school, I'm pretty sure, in Nigeria. Regardless, that didn't change the fact that I'm pretty sure every school was technically private because you had to pay school fees everywhere, and I'm pretty sure everyone was getting beat in all schools, regardless.
Nah, bro, it's definitely some kind of scheme.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Because like,
Are there
I've
any
been in a
government
private
schools?
school. I've been in.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. They are the majority
Yeah, you said you were in a private school.
government schools. Yeah, I've been in a private school where they cane.
Yeah, so I was in
It's
a
not-
private school where the caning, like, it was a female teacher, but I'm telling you, the caning, like, they got their full baseball, pitcher arm. They got that full stretch back, open up the pectorals, and then, you swing in one swift motion. Like, they got the full, bring that ass here, boy, type
It's
motion.
only the posh Lagos Lekki schools and a few outliers that don't
Yeah.
have that culture.
Those are the ones with their own fields that are
Like
always.
my secondary school was the British. It's the British educational system, and they get even if they wanted to do that, I don't think they would. And trust me, I know a lot of the teachers who constantly complained about how they wish they could just beat the kids. It was a really common thing, but
Yeah, like,
they
it's
couldn't
such a
have gotten
standard
away
thing.
with it because they regularly have people coming from those educational boards in Cambridge and coming to inspect and see how things are run and gone. We would have assemblies that are like no other assemblies because some British lady came to see what the school was like and everything was so prim and proper, and we would have these traditions that we never did before.
wow.
And
Yeah.
people will start
Wow.
people will start forming accents. Was that? Well, I come from the UK as well. Actually, I visit with my family.
Oh, wow.
Just it was sad to see.
So
But
you
Damn.
Yeah.
are jumping hoops for the white man. Oh my!
I'm
You're
gonna honest,
dancing for the white man, nigga. That's
that's
crazy.
pretty much what it was. The teachers irritated me more though because kids are dumb. Kids, it's also a thing of like making fun. They could just be making fun of the lady, but
All right, before we leave the topic, I never
the
finished my
teachers
story.
the teachers almost revere them like gods. It's very sad to see.
Yeah, it is. Let me finish my story before we start moving on because I don't want it to be out of place. So, like I said, I was in the second grade. Quickly, I'm gonna say this quickly. I was in the second grade, right? And this was like how to be a decent human class, where they taught you how to button your shirt. They taught you how to iron stuff.
I
what's it
swear
called?
you said touch instead of teach. Can you?
Sorry. They teach you how to iron stuff. They teach you how to button your shirt. They teach you how to tie your shoes.
They touch you.
Yeah. Basic cooking, I'm pretty sure, in case you just, I don't know, have only Indomie in the house or some shit. And so, right, they taught us that, right? And basically, they'd have this one time. I don't know if it was a sub because my memory isn't good because bear in mind this happened like what, 10 years? Not even 10 years ago. Like, yeah, this happened almost 10 years ago, like 8 to 10 years ago. So I don't know if it was a sub or my regular teacher, right? So we, at the end of class, we had this competition where basically I don't remember if the girls did it, but I know the guys did it, where we'd unbutton our shirts, undo our shoelaces, and unbuckle our pants, right? And
okay.
basically everyone no, nothing was taken off.
Okay.
Don't get it twisted. So it's just like basically first to button their shirt, buckle their pants, and tie their shoes, wins, right?
I see.
And so like all people were doing that, right? And like
It's practice for when you gotta dash out of the girl's house.
So yeah, all people were doing
Bro.
that, right? I mean, I'm faster now, but like at the time, I was the last one, right? And what's it called?
Get your shorts up before he can pull out his shotgun.
Jesus Christ!
For
So I
all
was
the
the last
Yoruba
one,
home
right?
wreckers in the house.
And what's it called? She like gets this. Then because I was last, apparently there was this unspoken rule where the last one gets beaten, right?
The fuck?
So shorty, she pulls out the broom. You know the broom, not the conventional broom you see in the movies, guys. There's this broom, the African broom,
Ah,
where basically
the broom.
it's a broom of just twigs, right? It's a broom of fucking. It's a leaf. I don't know how to explain it. But like all my Africans, Jamaican, like all the people who aren't like from first world countries or who have ever not been to a they know this broom, all right? And this broom hurts. Cause this is like you have all these little strong little twig leaves, right? They're constantly making, and this woman, there was like 3 flogs, but these were the most painful 3 flogs of my life. Cause she had anger. It was because I know she wasn't beating me because I lost. There was definitely something underlying that was not addressed that she had to let it out on me. I don't know what it was, but it fucked me up. Because I was walking different that day. I pissed myself. I did. She beat me that hard. And it was only 3 strokes. I get on the bus. I pissed myself. And on our bus ride home, I'm just sitting in my own piss, looking out the window like an R&B singer in 2009. Like, I was fucked.
God damn. God.
An R. Kelly reference.
Fuck, I wasn't even thinking of it like that. I was just thinking of it like the R&B album covers.
Oh,
Have you accident, dickhead? The man said R. Kelly.
Whenever from now on, whenever I hear whenever I hear a story about P, the first thing I think of is R. Kelly.
I can't
So.
deal with you.
I'm sorry.
Regardless, Keaton, that was quite just hearing that was actually quite deep anyway. For Bami decided to like make a joke out of it. Pig.
No, it was fun. No, it was funny. Like I can look back on it now and like laugh about it, but I know that like I feel like it fucked me up for some time, because now I think like mentally I've conditioned myself to finish first in a lot of things, because like I noticed that I never finish last for a test. I never do any of that, and like even if I don't understand the test, like I will always aim to finish first rather than understand, and like it's just something that I subconsciously do, and I think that's actually fucked me up for like a big part of my life.
Yeah.
It's whatever.
People know a frog jump. They don't know of.
Because it's like it's just like, oh, you think it's just a one-off beating, but like it's just it has effects on a kid. It has effects.
It does. There's a reason developed countries don't do this anymore.
Yeah,
because
they don't understand.
They decided children have the right to not be abused. Whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
I guess some people just don't agree with that.
True, and I think the best way to explain it is that they're thinking quite short term instead of thinking long term, and the reason why they're thinking short term is because their parents thought short term as well. So they were like, the shortest way from A to B for this child to listen to me and to take me seriously is for me to put fear into their hearts and change their lives and change their perspective on how I view them.
Just fucking disconnected. Anyway, we'll continue. But
see, Dave doesn't like me, but anyway.
This nigga's
I'm sure it's having technical difficulties.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
I also think it's because people want to see instant results too, because like they want to see that progress. Oh, they see, oh, I beat the kid automatically starts doing better. All right. But since they see that instant gratification and the instant progress, they don't understand the long-term damaging effects.
Yep.
And they always hate the children that it doesn't work on, because some kids are just they have pain tolerance. Some kids
no, they can take
and it makes them crazy. It makes them the ones that become the really fucked up ones, the ones that
I mean, like, I feel like it worked with my mom, because my mom I don't have any trouble with. I knew like I was just a little asshole, and what's it called? So like now she knows she can't beat me. Not that she can't beat me anymore. She just knows it doesn't work on me, because I'm 6'2" now. I'm 16. I have some muscle on me, and her beating me, it may sting a little, but it won't feel the same as a kid. All right. So yeah.
That's a fact. So all jokes aside,
so like she knows to actually so now we've actually started talking stuff out, and like I'm me addressing when I'm wrong. Cause she knows, like, at the end of the day, like her beating me, yeah, though, like it'll only get me mad, cause I honestly won't learn anything, cause it'll be like, that ass, you're just gonna beat me, like, that shit don't work no more, like, yeah.
It's different levels. It's because like they don't want to take the time to think about the issue and how to really correct it. They think it's easier to keep on going with a damaging method.
Yeah, and I think it's because I'm an only child too, so like when they hear me talk, it's like they don't have anything else to reference. Like, oh, if it worked on this kid, maybe the fact that it doesn't work on the other kid is not my fault, right?
So, yo, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yes.
You're back.
Oh, thank God.
Oh shit, I have to do your audio, bro. Fuck. All right. All right. Speak.
Yo, hello?
All right, speak now.
Hello.
All right, you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
Nice. Welcome back
So
on
yeah,
the
Soft
sinking
lock.
ship. That is our
yeah, we're just
podcast.
talking about getting flogged. So yeah. Oh yeah, we were talking about cram school and yeah,
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
was gone
wrote.
for like 5 minutes. How many topics did y'all cover?
No. We just get
talked about
on.
beating kids and expecting a good outcome.
Ooh, facts. Like a lot of yeah, it's really I personally never got that because like I don't know how the rest of us didn't get the message like as time went on. Like it's one thing when you are literally like surviving out in the savannah and like hunting lions. It's another thing when it's kind of like you are in a household and you need to talk to your kid. You don't beat him and expect him to just say, "Oh yeah, you're right. We did agree upon that. I'll do better next time." That doesn't make sense.
No, it's because we were talking about like they see short term they see short term success and they don't understand long term effect. So when they see that
Exactly.
the kid gets beat, they see the short term that oh he's been beat and he does good, but they don't see like the fact that there's trauma involved with beating your kid. Granted,
When that
I'm still gonna beat the shit out of my kids until they like what 13.
Nigga.
when
I'm
that
still
kid is an adult and he's out in the world and he's doing bad shit and there's no one that's going to beat him.
yeah. Honest, like I'm
Yeah.
a defo keep my kids in check.
Nah,
Cause I
but I'm gonna teach my kids how to fight.
no, I'm definitely
Uh,
gonna
Oh,
bro.
dead ass.
Let me
Yeah,
show you
yeah.
something.
taekwondo class and MMA class from day
I took
one.
MMA, so I know how to fight. So even if my mom, even if my son gets brave one day and he's like, "Yo, I'm gonna slide the fuck out of this nigga," I'm like, "Yo, three." I'm
Oh
like,
no,
"There's three, bro."
I'm still gonna make sure that like if I spawn my son, it's not gonna be out of anger. Like I will teach you, young one.
I
I'm
will
like, "Hands
teach
up,
you.
hands up." Fingers to
Well,
your
the
temple.
we're not
Fingers to your
even like I have my own qualms with parents doing it, but I can understand their different parenting styles. But an education system,
oh yeah,
it's not
education.
Exactly.
it doesn't work.
It don't
It's not
work.
conducive. It misses the whole point of teaching people to be rational and to be educated.
Mm.
And like when you can't have civil discourse, when you can't convince someone that they are they're wrong or without the threat of violence.
No, but I feel like
Mm.
You
there's some.
expect
Go
them
ahead.
to be functional adults.
Continue.
Yeah, like you can't like that's not how the real world works. You can't go out up and beat somebody and then get a promotion.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
you're right.
like that's not how you're going to progress in life. So why is it that they suddenly think that oh yeah, let me teach them this when you can't use it?
Yeah,
You
no, no.
can't beat somebody and get a job, bro. That's not
Yeah,
how life works.
that makes sense. But I feel like there are cases where I feel like you should beat your child. I'm not gonna lie, because there comes a point because I've seen because you see videos online where you got these white kids just yelling at their parents and shit
Oh,
and going crazy.
yes.
Because I feel like there's a point because you know how like when you tell a kid to not touch the fire and they still touch the
Mm.
fire and it's not they
Mhm.
didn't learn because what's it called they heard you say don't touch the fire. They learned because they felt the pain of oh fire hot, let me not do that again. So like when
Mhm.
you understand like of course I'm saying beating them should not be your first option, right? But I feel like
Mhm.
even if you restricted them, taking their privileges away, talk to them like normal human beings, and they don't want to act like normal human beings, I feel like there comes a threshold where you're just like, let me swing on this nigga, I'm not saying you should close fist straight Conor McGregor, you know what I mean? Like straight haymaker them, right? But I mean like, making them choose the belt once in a while is, I feel like something somewhat applicable.
Just a little love tap. Just
Love tap.
Yeah, because I feel like
To some
honestly,
extent,
I feel
though.
like a lot
More
of
of a
kids could be straightened out if just one beating session with an African parent.
yeah, but like an African no, sorry, an education system should not be the one to decide that.
Yeah,
Your
no, no,
parents
that's
should be the one
different.
Yeah.
No, because like I feel like your household prepares you how to be a human being, right? In life, and
Exactly.
shows you your beliefs. So that's I feel like is important to get that foundation. But a school just teaches you how to be educated, right? And not teach. I said teaches you how to be educated, but educates you, right? And how to
Mm.
work with other people. And if working with other people doesn't really isn't the best if you're beating each other's ass, right?
Hmm.
So I don't really feel like people will comply there.
Yeah,
So,
and
yeah,
I feel
because
like
yeah, go on.
yeah, with the Nigerian education system, there's an aspect of it that we haven't really talked about, and that has to be the facilities that are provided. And I'm not talking about private schools where they have their tuts, their tuts boards and everything. I'm talking about public schools and boarding school facilities that are awful.
But you have to understand
Some of these
taxpayers.
places are barely constructed. Like they're not even fully constructed. Some don't have fences and walls, and they're missing. There's no wiring in the thing.
They're missing windows.
They're missing
Like it's not even windows. It's literally
It's
just a
not
hole in
like
the wall.
it's not like they're under construction or they were being recently. They were just recently built and they're making renovations. No, this is just how they've been for like years.
Exactly.
I
Like,
want. But then again, you have to remember, even though we have a population of 200 million, a lot of us don't. A lot of people. You think people are in the position to file their taxes? Like the poverty in Nigeria is crazy. Do you think people are really in a position to file their taxes?
No, but the thing is, they still get taxes anyway, and this
From
where the
who?
money is going. It's going into some to so many politicians, just offshore Swiss bank accounts. And
So you know
everything.
we have a what's it called? We have a 200 million population, basically rounded up, right?
Yeah, yeah.
10 million are registered taxpayers, registered consistent taxpayers. I'm not saying there's only 10 million a year that pay their tax, but it's 10 million that have consistently paid taxes, right?
That is 5%.
5%. 5%, and which I'm assuming is the upper class, right? The upper class and upper class, right? Because then again,
Yeah, more or less.
so yeah,
and that's a rough estimate. But yeah.
5% of the population is paying taxes. So you have to remember that, like, you know, they're working with what they can, and on top of that, there's a lot of corruption in the Nigerian government. So there's still embezzlement of funds on top of that, and you expect them to have good facilities?
Okay,
No,
okay,
Keaton,
but wait.
Keaton, but the real you pointed out that it is the top and middle class. It's the wealthy ones. So the ones with the most money. So if they're the ones with actual money, if they're the ones paying taxes, it's not like there's no money being there's no revenue being generated. It's where it's going.
Jeez,
We have we aren't poor in the sense we don't have funds. We're poor because those funds are stolen. They're mismanaged, and it's a mixture of corruption, incompetence, and just flat out apathy of how to run things.
Facts.
They're politicians.
Facts.
They're politicians in power that aren't even as educated as someone in 6th grade.
Oh, they're not as
And we
educated
pay
as-
double what Canadians pay in tax, because Canadian tax is 13%, right? Nigerian tax is almost 26.
Yeesh.
And bear in mind, that's like, I'm pretty sure that's like the just regular salary tax. So then when you have, because bear in mind, you know, the higher your income, the higher tax bracket, so the more you pay in taxes. So the upper class probably pay more than 24% in taxes when you think about it. Jesus Christ, I hate taxes. I think if I was in Nigeria, I wouldn't mind paying taxes. Even then, I feel like even if they're embezzled, at least I know, you know, it's Nigeria, all right, third world country. But here, I hate paying taxes because I feel like I'm getting fucked over every time.
Wait, I don't.
You sound like you're paying it yourself.
I don't get that. It's you would be happy to pay taxes in a place where they actually do nothing.
No, it's because I want to allocate my funds to more impoverished areas, because you know, like the idea that, you know, I fund my own vicinity. I kind of want to fund, you know, I want everyone to be equal.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good idea.
And well, yeah, that works everywhere, because I really feel like universal. It should be, you know, a universal tax thing, because I don't like the idea of only funding my area. Granted, you know, yay, more money for me. To property value goes up, my money goes up when I sell the house. More bank, you know. But then again, you have to understand how many people suffer at your expense, right?
Exactly.
The U.S. Sometimes I'm amazed that they even get away with getting people to pay taxes because of the amount of poverty and wealth divide and social
Facts.
injustice that goes on in that country.
On top of how much,
What
like,
where are the social benefits? There's always someone trying to repeal whatever protections people have.
and
Our
on
our
top of,
boy Trump, Obamacare, etc., etc. All these things meant to help um, lower income and disenfranchised people.
It's
They just don't give
just
a fuck. Yet you have to pay your taxes. You ain't being patriotic. You ain't. You're not.
on top of,
no, but
because they
that's the
spend
key word.
fuck. Get,
Because
God damn it, fuck. I just want to
bro,
say this is because as well as the U.S. spends $1 trillion a year to develop their military. A year, all right. Do you know how much just not even, I'm not saying completely defund the military, but what do you need $1 trillion a year when you already have the most powerful military? All right, let's say you just need to maintain, right? You need you need maintenance, all right? Do you need $1 trillion a year to just maintain your current military?
Negative.
Because they're not just maintaining. They can't just maintain. They want to.
They
They
want,
need to keep on the razor edge of development. They need to.
and it's not
Those new
even like anyone
fighters
is
are gonna
coming
build
close to them,
themselves.
right? It's not even like anyone's coming close to them. Granted, like you have the competitors, like they could,
Russia is not as powerful as people like to
like
think.
Russia
They
is
have
not as
nukes.
powerful as like
They
compared to America.
they have nukes, but every that's like the great equalizer. A lot
Yeah,
of countries have nukes. India has enough nukes
Some havoc, at least.
to cause significant
exactly.
problems. I just find it funny how some countries have like just like one nuke or like five or like 10, and then there's the Russia and the US
yeah,
with thousands all over the place. What if these things accidentally went off?
bro, that's the one thing that keeps me up at night. Because
Yeah,
I'm just thinking,
you guys watched the 100, right?
Oh my
I
god.
haven't. Is
You
that
have to
what
watch
happened?
watch like all the way up to like season 3, because then you understand how the world got fucked. But like it's great world building because it feels like a possibility because it's sci-fi, but it doesn't feel too out of left field.
Hmm.
Like you can suspend your disbelief in some areas, but like if you suspend it, you could understand like the actual possibility of stuff like that actually happening.
And the maintenance of those nukes and the facilities
But
that house them
is it
is a
1 trillion
significant
a
part.
year? I'm not in the
Definitely.
I'm
Nukes are hard, man. That physics is
so it's,
some heavy shit. That Iran has been trying to do it for how long, and well, it doesn't help they're being sabotaged by by the U.S. and everything. But all the look at North Korea, they've been trying to get working ICBMs for like how long, and they're making progress actually, but still, it's hard. It is. I'm not surprised that it costs so much because of what they are doing. I'm just like, it's not. There's so much waste.
no, but
dude,
I'm
like,
not saying, but I'm saying, is it 1 trillion just to maintain or 1 trillion?
No, it's not just to maintain research and
I know
development
that's what
of
I'm
new
saying, but
technologies.
would you need? Do you think they need $1 trillion a year though?
I don't, 100% not. A lot of that is also because of the politics and the lobbyists and people who they want to maintain a monopoly in a certain field. Maybe a certain firm is contracted for tanks development or like aircraft development and everything, like some aerospace company, and they get more. They pay them a lot more than they actually need to.
Because
And that's one thing SpaceX is doing is they're showing they don't need to pay all these big guys like ULA and all that much for to get cheap and usable rocket and reusable rockets into space and everything. It's breaking the status quo of that overly bureaucratic and excessively corrupt and just big checks. They're just throwing big checks everywhere because if they even see the potential that this is going to give them an edge over the Russians, they're just going to throw mad stacks at it because they keep getting the money.
Hey, but all I'm saying is that there are terrorist groups that have literally affected the world in multiple countries that do not use as much money
them niggas got
as
AKs and masks.
oh no, like
You're
keep
telling
it
me,
no
dog, I was
actually
about to say something fucked up, but you're telling me US, you really lost to niggas with
AKs
fucking
and
AKs and masks. You niggas got a $1 trillion budget, and you've lost to niggas with AKs, masks, and broken bulletproof vests.
That money makes sense then.
Because I plan to live in the U.S. because of what I want to do with my life, and I know knowing that a big chunk of my taxes will go to the fucking military. That shit hurts my soul. Because I'm like, there's so many other things you can invest in, and you're basically telling me to go fuck myself with my money. Like, it's not fun. But I feel like we're getting off topic because today's we'll talk about the economy another day.
They could use this. They could use the change that they'd save from making things more from just reducing the amount of nukes to enough that they can destroy the world one time or just the whole world. You have enough nukes for the whole world rather than blow it up 5 times over.
Can we settle for leaving the world alone, please? Can we do that? Can we not?
All right, I'm gonna say this. Nice. I want to say this before we go back because I feel like we've gotten on topic because this was education episode, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just say this. I feel like on top of that, there's also like a psyche that goes into it. Because think about it, when you have people working under such a big budget, I feel like people get sloppy, right? Because they're like, I have $1 trillion at my disposal. Yes, well, of course, not $1 trillion raw, but I'm saying you have a big amount of money at your disposal that, you feel like, okay, I can afford to fuck up, right?
Mm. Yeah, and they fuck up a lot. That's the thing. There's so many failed projects, but they keep throwing money at all these guys with a new idea, something that even sounds plausibly feasible, anything that will give the edge.
Meanwhile, there's a race war in the streets, but no resources for that.
You niggas want water? Ain't that crazy?
Oh, they're really acting like it's some like filler anime arc. Like,
but no race episode today, boys. Education.
No, but like no, because that's the bottom line. Also,
Dave, please. Can we please stay on topic?
No, bro. I'm trying to veer in that direction. Allow me.
Let him segue. Let's see how he segues.
Samuel, the segues you pull, you're not one to talk. Let him go.
Stay on topic.
Look, bro, let me finesse this, okay? Shut up.
That's it.
I didn't sauce boss. Go on.
Ooh, wow, damn. But yeah, bro, the bottom line is just priorities because obviously, like you see, like political motivations or otherwise, that like $1 trillion a year, and meanwhile, your education system is failing and also pumping out like literally all of the questionable teachers and cops, that we see that we have problems with every year. Okay, literally all of your minorities are struggling and saying it out loud, but you're not doing anything. Like the whole point is like, dude, you need to invest in your community, and that includes the education system because there are a lot of misplaced priorities, and this involves obviously Nigeria as well because obviously a lot of that money. Well, we really just don't see where it ends up. Like, obviously, like another politician gets a really nice house, someone gets a new whip, and et cetera, et cetera. But even the little that we do that does end up back in the community, for what? Like maybe we built a new I don't know, fish market over here. Yeah, that's come on.
Because like every time I see shit like that happen, I'm like, how many things could you have changed with that house you built, with that car you? Sorry, I'm away from the mic. I said, how many things can you build with that? With that house, with the money that house took, or the money that car took, right?
Yeah.
I'm not a communist. Don't get it twisted. I know a lot of the shit I say makes me sound like a communist, but I feel like there should be a certain amount of reallocation of wealth. I'm not saying it should be completely equal, because I feel like in a communist state, there will be no incentive to work because of the way people's mind built. Because, people want more money. They want to feel more power than others. Power is a drug, all right? And I feel like if you completely bring in the idea of communism, there are some people who will reject the idea of working any effort job, right? Effort requiring job, because they realize, oh, I'm gonna get paid the same amount regardless, because communism. But that's just how I feel about it. But back to what I was saying about, so I feel like they should reallocate wealth, because I feel like it's crazy, because like you'll see them in the new G-Wagon, in the new Benz, in the new, with their black and gold plated great gates. You know, the ones with them
Mhm.
grandiose palaces with marble
With the
floors
lions.
and pillars outside. I don't think Americans understand that Nigerian houses are better than American houses.
Dead ass.
Like because they just because they don't understand the poverty. Like I mean all they see is poverty. But I don't think you understand upper class Africa. Like people
It's
who
Ridiculous.
I don't think people understand how many Americans would live in Africa if they understood how much they could get for their current wage.
mhm.
Because you
Cost of food is like the cost of groceries and food is very low compared to
It's ridiculous.
other countries.
it's
And
it's
housing,
actually funny.
you get a mansion, you could build you could buy a plot of land and build a mansion with the kind of money that you would spend getting like a big like a
Not even
family house,
just mortgaging a house, not even buying,
mortgaging a house. Yeah.
just mortgaging a house. You will get a palace. I'm telling you, it's crazy. Like they have literal Roman Colosseums type houses. It's like in upper class Nigeria. If you've ever seen that, shit's crazy.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
And they have their own they all have their own like security guards. They have
Facts.
they have their own garden, and they have their own hedges trimmed to look like certain things. It's crazy
Dead ass.
with the fountain in the middle too. It's
this one
straight out
friend-
of Crazy Rich Asians.
This one friend of mine, one of her friends had a party, so she dragged me along. Bro, when I say that these people had a separate building exclusively for parties just for their kids, and it was as big as the actual house, like it was a whole like tower and everything. Like, bro, does
Like people
Rapunzel
think
live
we're
in
probably
there?
exaggerating, which is the funny part. I'm being dead ass. Like I'm being
Yeah,
as
like,
dead ass
for-
as I can be.
For real.
Like upper
Imagine
class
having
Nigeria
that
is eating
center for
good,
your kids' parties.
and upper class Nigeria is eating good. It's eating good. They're not flawed. Okay, I feel like we're shitting on Nigeria too much, but in the idea of like the education system too, because yeah, we all heard the same thing by now. Like we're not taught anything. We're not taught how to be educated, right? Wait, Dave, are you speaking?
No.
Okay, sorry. It just looked like you were speaking on the screen. Sorry.
That's right.
So I feel like we're not taught how to be educated.
We're taught to be workers.
Yeah, we're taught to be workers. We're taught how to memorize and assimilate as much information as possible.
Yep.
Mm.
It used to be for the assembly line. Now it's for the office desk job.
Yeah.
True. That's actually no another like general point with the education system is that just a lot of because obviously it's the same complaint, but I think there's a little more nuance to it when I say that a lot of the stuff they teach us is genuinely useless because bro, a lot of the skills that you need, like social interaction, work ethic, organization, all that stuff, bro, they just leave you to figure that shit out. Like they don't. It's literally sink or swim. Although, but the Pythagorean theorem, nah, fam, that's gonna make or break your career. Like, come on, does that make sense?
Yeah. I feel
No.
There's no actual like specialization. There's no. It's just
Like,
here's all this random shit. Learn it all, and then
Like,
go out
at
and
least give us,
And
at
then take
least
the
give us
last
a
2 years.
tutorial
And then
for
take
paying taxes.
yeah, that's true. They didn't even give me that shit in civics and careers, which is that's the purpose of to teach me about my government. But like I was saying, think about it. It's kind of fucked up when you think about it because they give you all this they give you information from every domain all the way up till you're the most emotionally unstable in your lives. Because think about the level of puberty you are at the age of 16, 17, where you make the choice of what you want to do for the next average lifespan being 80, 90, right? You're making the choice for the next 70 years
It's like,
of
dude,
how you're gonna live the
thank
next
you.
70.
Thank you. It's like, bro, you don't know shit. You're just horny. You're just
And
horny
even
and
so,
confused. No one knows. No
why are you
one
coming
knows
for me,
what's
bro?
going on at
So-
that age. No, I'm saying for everybody. It's like, bro, how are you expecting me to figure out my shit at 16? Bro, I'm still trying to figure out what pickup line to use in the friggin' like, bro, what? It doesn't make sense.
I'm trying to figure out how to make I was about to say a female that I actually knew. I'm trying to
Well,
figure out how
he
to
was
make
about to say babies. On God,
Shut
he was
up.
about to say.
I'm trying to figure out how to get I know too many females. I just feel like no name is acceptable. I don't want anyone to get the wrong idea.
Yeah, nice
Word
flex.
flex. Okay.
I'm trying to figure out how to get fucking microphone. That's just gonna be your name. I'm trying to figure out how to get microphone and go out with me in fourth period. Like, it's like, could you really just help your boy out? Fuck.
Yeah, bro.
I'm not trying to
like,
figure out what I want to do for 70 years.
like a 9 to 5. Nigga, get out of here.
Yeah, that shit sound white. And I feel like we should like school because there's too much stigma. Granted, there's more prevalent in the Asian side of the like right side of the world. Granted, like past Africa in East Asia. But I feel like we should normalize the idea of not going to post secondary. All right. Like, I feel like we should normalize the idea of chasing your dreams. All right. Because a lot of people know that like I want to do music with my life, and everyone assumes that like I want to make rap music. Fuck off. All right. First of all, second of all, like I'm not to toot my own horn, but I'm really good at piano, and I'm really good at writing music on piano, and not just for piano, other instruments too. And I'm happy doing that shit. And I'm okay with not being the richest man in the world. I'm okay with not being no, Lil Uzi Vert. I'm okay with not being no Beethoven. I just want to enjoy my life. Like,
Word.
I just want to.
Word.
I want to.
And that should be okay. That
Yeah,
should be
and I feel like when you, like, I shouldn't feel ashamed to tell people. Not, I don't feel ashamed, but I shouldn't feel like I shouldn't feel the worry to be judged when I tell people I want to do music.
yeah, or
shouldn't
like
feel-
tell people.
Exactly. I shouldn't be like cautious to tell people, right? Because it's
Yeah,
like, at the end of the day, like, if I'm happy, like, well, don't worry about what I'm doing. Chase the bag, right?
Hey, man, bro. Like, you know, it's like the same thing over and over again. Like, whenever you see that one relative that you haven't seen in a while, it's always hey, so what do you wanna do with your life?
First of all,
Where
old
do you
ass
see
nigga,
yourself
fuck off,
studying?
all right? You got a marriage that's failing to worry about. You hop off my dick, all right?
Ooh, no, that ass.
Didn't
Bro,
hear from
how
me
much
though.
has been on this podcast already. Like, god damn, bro.
Like, just didn't hear from me though. But yeah, I feel like because there's just so much stigma. It's just like, okay, we get it, man. You want to grow up to work a 9 to 5 and mortgage a house, right? Let me chase my fucking dreams, nigga. Like,
Yeah, it's like, come on, man. Like, hey, Gertrude, if it's working for you, that's all cool.
yeah,
But,
bro. Let me find a girl
I'm
named Gertrude today.
Whose man's is good?
That's just such an. I'm no offense to anyone named
No,
Gertrude, but it's just an
Gertrude.
ugly name.
Gertrude is a girl's name, I think.
It's a girl's name. It's
Yeah.
just an ugly name. I'm not
But-
gonna lie to you.
Oh, that's
When
the
I
thing.
think
It was like
Gertrude,
Olive
I
Oil,
think
like Popeye.
Lunch lady.
Yeah, I think lunch lady too. And I also want normalize your dreams to be anything, all right? Because if you want to grow up to be a janitor, there's nothing wrong with being a janitor, all right? You can be, like, there's nothing wrong with working a service job, all right? You can
There's-
grow up to.
you don't grow up to work a service job. There's nothing wrong in,
I know
of course, working a
that's
service
what I'm
job.
saying. There's nothing wrong with
It's
like.
Actually, no, I'd completely take that back. You don't. If we lived in a society that actually valued people who did service jobs and treated them fairly, we wouldn't see it as a problem because we value that. We value the service very highly. There's so much demand for it. People make of it, but it's not going to the servers. It's going to the investors and the
Exactly.
board of
And-
directors and everything. And
Like,
it's not that they aren't working. They do. It's hard. Their jobs are hard. They work long hours. They do a
It's
lot.
like
They have to deal with tons of people every day, and they do the
Terrence.
job
yeah,
most people want to. I think
It's
they
like-
deserve more than most people doing easy jobs or a desk job or something. It's so reversed. So I take back what I said.
Yeah. So
it's
like,
like imagine renting the venue out to a bunch of asshole kids and they trash the place. Who's gonna clean that shit up? Who do you think's gonna do it? Like, bro, that's important.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like we should normalize every job. Like, there should be no, like, granted, I understand the hierarchy of fame, not the hierarchy of money, but, like, like, granted, like, seeing a performer, right, who is on every national television and who makes appearances, someone who has influences versus someone, who works a janitorial job, right? A custodian job. I understand the hierarchy of fame, right? But then again, I feel like, you shouldn't granted that you might give the person with more fame more respect because of the influence they have, but I feel like just because the job you work, you should not get any less respect, because at the end of the day there's a human behind that job, right? It's not just a job. It's not just a it's the way they make their living.
Space to fill.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like at the
exactly.
end of the day, it's just another nigga trying to put food on the table, you know?
Exactly. So
come
like
on.
if people want to genuinely like if there are people who want to genuinely grow up to, be a high school custodian or like, be a waiter and live a nice not nice before
Simple.
not
Like
yeah,
a
a simple life cuz I like I'm not saying that you can't live a nice life. I'm saying like it's kind of impossible in today's economy. But like to live a simple life as a, custodian, waiter, busboy regardless, right? Go out with your friends on the weekends, have shifts. There should be nothing wrong with that. Not everyone has to aim to be a lawyer or a doctor or like the best neurosurgeon. Like I don't get why. Yeah, we get it. We understand that they make a lot of money, but you have to understand they go to school for like literally what, almost 10 years.
Mhm.
And like in the case of doctors and lawyers literally have people's lives in their hands. Granted, one's more literal and the other is like, oh, if you fuck up your job, like people are
Yeah.
I find it funny. I find it funny that when how crazy parents can get when you want to take a quote unquote non-traditional job, when you want to follow a
Mm.
passion like music or art or a certain niche, like
I'm
something
actually
that's not,
really just to
something,
say
wait, hold on, something that's not gonna make you like six figures and all
yeah.
that. Yet everyone has a favorite musician and they have
Mm.
their sport,
Ooh.
they have their entertainment, but all they would view you as you're not living up to your potential if that's the route you want to go.
Yeah,
Real shit.
I just like to
Yeah.
say I feel like my parents raised me the perfect way in the sense that whenever I tell them whatever I want to do, it's they don't have a problem with what I want to do. They just have a problem with work ethic, right? So if I say I want to do something, they make sure that if I say I'm going to do that, I'm going to give it 100%. So hypothetically speaking, let's say I wanted to become an NBA player. I don't, but like, what's it called?
Gotta
They
get the
will
vertical.
my parents would take me to the court every day. They will take me to every practice. They will fund me, right? They will make sure that I eat healthy and I work out consistently and that I do everything in my being to become a NBA player, right?
Mhm.
Same thing that when I said like I genuinely enjoy doing music, they're like, okay. Like since I was a kid, they put me in piano classes. They've taken me to every recital. They've taken me to weddings so I can make money off that. They have driven me places that most parents will be like, oh, it's too far. And they've made me like granted there have been times where I didn't want to practice, but they said stand up and go sit your ass at that piano. And like, granted at the time I was like, frustrated, but like because of what they did, they told me, okay, if you want to do that, you're not gonna do it half-assed. And I feel like that's how everyone should raise their children.
Yo,
right?
bro, look, I ain't even met them, but look, I love your parents. Can you adopt me? Like, just real quick.
And the funny bit is like I sometimes I feel inadequate because like my family dynamic is weird, but like you niggas know the actual dynamic. But my sister, she's in school to become a neurosurgeon, right? And here I am wanting to write piano music. So you understand like the fucking
No.
The scenes at the dinner table.
she's studying to become a neurosurgeon at King's University in fucking England, bro. And here I am just like I'm fucking failing classes. You were saying, Bambi, you cut out.
I said I want to press piano.
Yeah, I want to play key.
To play the
No,
keyboard.
but at the end of the day, though, you shouldn't feel that kind of pressure. It's only society that's making you feel that kind of pressure.
Because
that's-
like the funny thing is, at the end of the day, if you make it big, you'll end up making more money than her as well.
Exactly. If I make it big.
Nah, you'll make it. Come on, bro.
Shot.
I believe in you.
Shit. That was a smart move.
In all honesty, I doubt that there's anybody in this podcast right now that is not about to joke about it, cough cough Bammy, but would actually be like, yo, we don't believe in you. I highly doubt that. Highly.
Flattery will get you nowhere, nigga.
Nah,
So-
then, bro, look, bro, I don't know about the rest, but
I'm already his biggest fan.
dude, do you know how many bum ass mixtapes like these ghetto niggas have had like sent my way, and I've had to like smile through and say, "Hey, you doing all right?" No, dude, you put out genuinely good shit, like for real.
Bro, you niggas ain't ready for what I got next. The Devil Boy
Devil.
Project.
Think that
The
since we
Devil
start
Boy Project.
podcast, drop some thing.
Don't worry,
Damn.
I'm working. Granted, school's basically over now, including the fucking teacher. And school's en route to be over, and I'm working on Devil Boy Project. Like, for those who don't know, Devil Boy Project, that's like my debut. That's not gonna be an album. It's good. It's a mixtape, and it's gonna be a mix of thoughts that I have on almost a daily basis. But yeah, I feel it's lovely. I fuck with it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if we're also gonna be mentioning about society and everything, and about the pressure that can bring on us for particular jobs, what that pressure can lead to cause us to do as people, aka causing
suicide.
some people to decide to turn to be suicidal.
I feel, granted, we talk about all this education, right, and especially Nigerian education, but I feel like we forget who has it the worst, which is East Asians, honestly. Most specifically, South Korea, right? For those who don't know, South Korea is the most educated country in the world. All right, 70% of their 70% of their population is post-secondary education, meaning 70% of their population is either in university or completed university. And when you complete university, or you're like, when you do university, you're not gonna, I don't want to make it sound bad that like service jobs are bad, but you have to understand, when you do those, when you go to like school for an extra 4 to 7 years, right? You're not gonna want to work at McDonald's or Burger King, right? You want to get that corporate job. You want to get that
Good proper job.
Yeah, that proper job. Like, they have a problem in their school. It's kind of ironic. They have a literal problem in their country where they're struggling from overeducation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, their population's too educated that not like people don't want to do service jobs because you have
High end jobs.
yeah everyone wants high end jobs because like everyone's qualified for high end jobs.
Yo,
Wow.
imagine getting rejected, even though you've literally done more than the other person, but then that person's like, no, we've done the exact same level.
So
That's
like,
what
Really
corrupt-
miss.
that's why like the
literally-
bar is really high because like apparently like I was watching like a documentary, and the way like their hiring process goes, like they have all of like, they're really like judgmental. They have all the like resumes on the ground, and if they see like even a word that they don't like, they just trash the whole resume.
Whoa.
Like the use of a word, like it doesn't even have to be an incorrect use. It's just like, let's say in a sentence they say like, let's say, yeah, like I just said, in a sentence or in a phrase, they mean the exact same thing, right? Let's say he doesn't like the word phrase, he will trash your whole resume.
Yeah.
Because the criteria they need to be so picky. They need to start finding smaller things to.
Exactly. So it's like,
But at that point, that's just petty.
I mean, like, can you blame them? You have
There's no other way to filter because there's so many qualified people. You have to. The only thing left is pettiness.
Deadass. South Korea should start exporting like graduates.
I'm
Other
sorry.
countries don't like that. People don't like that because like they want their own people
I mean,
to.
yeah, I feel you, but you have to Nigeria does
No,
that
it
too
was
when you think
it was
about
a
it.
joke. It was a joke.
Yeah.
You-
We're one of the. I think we are the biggest. Probably not the biggest by population,
But-
but we're for sending. We're known for our best and brightest going out and leaving.
Exactly, because like we have because people they assume so much, but like Nigerians are really educated. Because we follow the same standard that Asians do, because our school days are longer. We have stricter rules. Just our policies are different than the first world system, right? It's not just it's not, granted it's underfunded, but the expectation is still that of like a really well funded Asian school, right? Not as well though, because like we don't have like the cram school, and our school hours aren't as long, because I swear Asians spend like 12 plus hours a day at school. Nigerians only spend like 8 and more. I don't know, I haven't been there in a while.
No, like around that time.
Yeah. Like a lot of Nigerian schools are boarding schools too, so it's like you're not leaving campus, you're studying right after those 8 hours of school too. So like, so a lot of us are educated. It's just that because we're educated, we don't want to. It's selfish, but we don't want to. I hate using the word settle, but we don't want to settle for Nigeria. So a lot of us, immigrate.
No, because it's just Nigeria doesn't. If we would stay, it's just that Nigeria is so like impressively dysfunctional. Just those are
Yeah,
same
it's like
opportunities
it's
aren't
actually
afforded.
impressive how dysfunctional Nigeria is when you think about it. Because of like we have one of the best oil. We have one of the best oil reserves. All right,
Dude, facts.
resources. We got
Biggest.
great education that's just underfunded. Like the populace is really educated. Like what's it called? Land wise, like agriculturally, we have a lot of potential.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so much.
But we have all this shit that's like it's amazing how we have all these things essentially handed to us because it's our land, right? And it's like stuff we possess. It's just we're that dysfunctional.
You know, do you guys know what's so funny is that I asked like one of my friends about this, and we were fully talking about it. And what he basically said was that if any other first world country like America or the UK lost as much money as Nigeria has lost, they would go bankrupt right now. But we're still popping.
Because we make shit work.
We function. Our system is dysfunction. Is systematic dysfunction. It's
We're so used to the function that like losing money doesn't phase us. I don't.
Our people thrive in dysfunction.
recession is a recession is every other week.
Yeah, honestly, like every time my dad's talking about the recession, it's like which one, 2008 or 2006?
Which one?
It's just like
I count. It's
it's like fucking. It's like I don't because every time he's talking about a new recession, I'm just like 2008, 2006, 2002, 1998.
too much gaps. You're giving too big a gap. And the when we have to line up for fuel, all these long lines when they're doing the fuel subsidies and everything, and they hold back fuel, petrol.
Yeah,
And there are all these long lines everywhere. Every filling station is crowded, and people are waiting there for hours, like the whole day,
Yeah, like
on
when
end,
they strike.
just to get.
you know what's fucked when you have to literally dedicate time to get gas because here you can just leave your house and be like, all right, I'm going to get gas. I'll be back in like 3 minutes. You want anything from the convenience store? In Nigeria, you're like, okay, well, I'm going to do my work, and I have to. How many hours do I have left in my day? Okay, that's enough to get gas.
No, because there's so much traffic in certain places, not all places,
The
but
traffic is actually horrendous.
very popular.
It's the a lot of the time it's the gas lines that even cause a lot of traffic.
Quite true.
But not there's traffic all the time anyway. I'm just pointing that out.
Yeah, it's
I mean, it might.
Especially in most popular places such as Lagos.
yeah, it's crazy, dude. I'm telling you, like Asian. Sorry, I was just thinking, like, who could really expose me that, like, I don't know if there's anyone in my school that hates me that much that would literally, like, record my podcast and just, fucking send it to my school board. Like, yeah, it's like, I don't think there is. And if you are, I hope you're listening to this and I hope you fucking get hit by a bus, honestly. I don't want you to die, though. I want you to be incapacitated.
I want to record you.
No,
What
I'm
is-
saying, like, if you genuinely hate me enough to try and do that, I genuinely hope you get hit by a bus. Like, I don't even want you to die. I want you to be incapacitated so you suffer for the rest of your life. You disgust me.
God damn. Okay, wow.
But that's besides the point.
Fans will still go to church the next day and say, "I love all people."
Of course, of course. Except for that one guy. Like I said, it's just the school system is an amalgamation of terrible ideas. There's been efforts like it's better. I'm not gonna. It should be way better. Because I know you've seen the Prince EA videos. You see the car from 100 years ago. Look at the car now. You see the school from 100 years ago. Well, shit.
I used to be a big Prince EA fan.
Bro, like after like I feel like everyone has that ignorant Prince EA phase right now. Like they're just like, oh my god, this guy is spitting facts. And then you realize how much of a convoluted dickhead this guy is.
Community.
Oh,
It's just like, yeah, it makes sense, but it's like, okay, thanks, Mr. Captain Obvious.
I respect what he's trying to do, but like a lot of times he's wrong on a lot of things. He's out of touch, and it's just optimistic. It's like self-motivation. It's like all those self-help gurus and
Bro, it's like it feels like it just feels like MLM, multi-level marketing.
yeah, it
I
gives
want you
me
to
strong
speak it out into
vibes.
the world. Manifest that you will be rich within the next week, and it
Bro.
shall
One
come to you.
video I really hated was his depression video. You
Yeah,
are not depressed
watched that
because
video a couple of days ago. That was insane.
that really confused a lot of people, and because depression is an actual physical chemical phenomenon, like
I feel like
it's
it's because
a
so many people self-diagnose, and it's just like, all right, first of all, you're
Mm.
not sad, you're just horny. Shut the fuck up. But
Ooh.
there are people who are actually depressed.
True.
I think I need to go to a psychiatric ward because what's it called? I'm not gonna. Honestly, I'll just drop it because what's it called? I've had people in my circle accuse me of bipolar disorder, and I'm like, okay, come on, man. But like when you have more than one person accuse you of that, I'm like, okay, maybe I'll see a therapist.
Nah, bro. Like, I say still just get the proper testing as well, because back with like it isn't necessarily psychological, but yeah, like I didn't know I had narcolepsy for like apparently I had it for years, but I just didn't check that shit, and everyone just thought get some sleep. So get tested.
I mean, like, there's nothing wrong, guys, with going to therapy because, like, everyone like fucking associates therapy with people who are at the edge of their rod. Like, therapy is a healthy thing. Like talking to people, petting your dog. That's therapy when you think about it. Everything you do to better your mental state is therapy in a form of way. So you going to a like licensed therapist is just word for word therapy. You're just talking. At the end of the day, you're still just kind of talking to someone, right? So like you talking to your friend in the way that's therapy to you shouldn't be seen any different as like you talking to a licensed professional. Like, just talk yourself out, bro.
there's some things that friends can't help you with.
Yeah,
'Cause,
exactly. So
like really messed up shit. When you have real problems, your friends are a support group and they're there to help, but they can't.
They're out of their depth when it comes to that freaky shit.
Professionals are professionals. They have their place. The only problem is in America. There's so much. It's so monetarily motivated.
Mm.
It's only if you can afford it, and even then, you might be paying some quack, and they don't really have your best interest at heart.
yeah, because I remember I don't know who said this, but like, I mean, being a therapist is like really a moral dilemma because it's either you can choose to spend an hour and get $200, or you can spend 15 minutes with them and prescribe them any form of pill and still get the same $200, right?
Damn. Really?
Form of power in our modern.
Money's power. People love power.
Capitalism. You evil bastard.
We're gonna talk about the economy in a different episode. Don't worry. So I do think we've covered every topic. It was a good episode. I actually genuinely liked this episode.
Same.
I don't really have a note to leave off on apart from the fact that there is a lot that the education system should change. I feel like it should really focus on the idea of letting people follow whatever the fuck they want to do without shame. Because at the end of the day, you can say you can do whatever you want to do, but even people who say that are guilty of shaming people, who don't fall into that, go to post-secondary and, become a doctor or a lawyer type path, right? So at the end of the day, be proud of whoever you want to be and own it. Because at the end of the day, I keep on saying at the end of the day, like I said, in conclusion, finalement, be proud of who you want to be, because when everyone dies, who's gonna live a happier life? All right, regardless of if you believe in a afterlife or not, don't you want to live a happy life regardless of the amount of money you make? I know I do. So leave that as for some food for thought. Any closing messages, guys?
Um,
Actually, I like
Couldn't have said it better. Honestly,
well,
yeah.
All right, one at a time.
yeah, exactly. I'll go last. Everyone else go first.
All right, one at a time. Dave, go.
I don't know. I couldn't have said it better myself. Yeah, but like by all means, above all else, you gotta just prioritize being happy at the end of the day, because you can have those credentials, but if you still feel like shit, like bro, what was it for? So
Facts.
yeah, by all means, just do you, follow your dreams. Because when you're on the deathbed, you're not gonna say, "Oh, you know what? That 9 to 5 was really worth it. I really loved working with Karen every day. She was so good." No, no, it's gonna be about the
Oh
things that
shit,
you
guys!
do.
I am
What?
proud to announce that the 419ers is officially on Apple Podcasts.
Nice.
Yes, you can now listen to the 419ers not only on Spotify, Anchor, and SoundCloud, but as well as Apple Podcasts.
That's dope. That's dope.
I feel like a rich man now.
Exactly. We're up there, boys.
We have
What?
clout.
Nah, stop it. Stop.
I'm posting that. I'm posting that. Yeah,
No.
Samuel, next.
Yeah, basically, definitely agree with what you're saying, Dave. Like, it really is a perspective thing, and I know that the way that society is pushing most people, aka maybe even you, that you're watching right now, to think that yo, I have to be the best in school. I have to be. At the end of the day, think about what will make you enjoy your life the most. Yes, having a plan B makes sense. No one is saying like kick your plan B out of the window. However, like like you said, Dave, don't allow your life to go past you when you're on your deathbed, basically. Like, don't be out here having regrets, thinking as if, oh, I could have done this, I could have done that, I could have been with that goal, I could have been on that team, everything
Mm.
because of what a futile society perpetuation and propaganda. Yeah.
Good shit. Final message by me.
Yeah, education systems around the world are fucked, but pretty much every system around the world is fucked, so it's nothing new. Yeah, we got to work with what we got, and we got to work to make sure that we can make things better than they were. And when our generation is the one running things, we don't repeat the mistakes of our predecessors, and we actually make the education system be worthy of the name, and yeah, and fix 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 one of the most essential parts of society. Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Can I do like a little bit of a cliffhanger? Just I don't know what the hell you call that. Just one more.
He said the voice said one more. All right.
Bro.
All right. Oh shit! It's been 10 days since we uploaded the last podcast. Jeez.
Oh.
I'm really sorry about that. That's really my bad because I canceled due to
No, it's
No,
all
they don't
good.
gotta know that.
I should have
They don't
dropped
gotta
it
know that.
earlier. It's all right. I just wanted to like
Alright.
spread it out because I wanted like it to fill a spot. So yeah, that has been. I guess I can close now. Anything else, boys?
Wait, I think. Actually, yeah, because just a general message, because obviously a lot of school systems do a lot of things differently, and just for anyone who might be listening, I don't know the shit you're going through personally, but I just know that hey, like to get where you want to go, you gotta just do the stuff that you gotta do. So I'm not saying cheat outright, but just keep going,
Get a
use whatever
helping
is
hand.
at your disposal.
Get out.
And, yeah,
Get out.
I'm guilty.
Yeah, it is. It has been good, guys. So I'm gonna wrap this up real quick, boys. So now that we are I can officially say this. Thank you for listening to us. If you made it this far, thank you. Please rate us 5 stars for the algorithm. Promote
Yes,
Black
sir.
creators, especially at a time like this. 5 stars.
Yes,
Leave
sir.
a like. Leave a
Play
comment.
that race card.
Subscribe whether to our Spotify, YouTube, SoundCloud, our Apple Podcast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're basically on all platforms now. Next is Google Podcasts and all that, but who the fuck listens on Google Podcasts? So, like I said, enjoy your day. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please have a wonderful, morning, afternoon, evening, or whenever you're listening to this. And this has been the 419ers. Enjoy yourselves.